观众，欢迎回来。上场比赛之中，黄毒是战胜了老干爹。
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2014 LPL Summer Playoffs. My name is Rapid. I'm here with Nero, and we're coming out of a Game 1 victory for Starhorn Royal Club, and there's your MVP on the screen right there. A deathless performance for UZI, who finishes the game at 12-0 and 11. He may look dry in that picture. He looked kind of wet during the break because he was taking the Ice Bucket Challenge, but he looked good during their first Game 1 win versus LGD. So what did Starhorn do that was so dominant that really caught LGD off guard and really never allowed them the chance to come back?
First of all, they got the comfort picks, and actually you cannot have Korn not have a comfort pick. You cannot ban him out. He loves to play Fizz, he loves to play Orianna, he can play Yasuo, he can play pretty much everything. So you cannot ban him out. And that is always going to be an issue for LGD. So they need to have the jungler pressure on the middle lane. They have to shut down mid and bot. Cola cannot really carry the games as well as Korn or UZI, so they need to focus around the bottom half of the map. That's first of all for LGD. And yeah, coming back to the MVP performance for UZI, he was quite close to going down in the bottom lane inhibitor fight.
So close. He got death sentence, but he immediately cleansed the death sentence right off there and was able to make it out alive. Like, that was just ridiculous timing, reflexes. Like 1 split second, and I believe Wayless would have been able to kill him off there with just an auto attack. So some great micro, incredible plays, and an incredible performance gets UZI the MVP. But that's only the Game 1 MVP. We've still got a best-of-5 series to play out, so should be really cool to see how LGD want to strategize a win. They weren't able to come up with any answers versus Edward Gaming when they played them in the first round. That was a 3-0 defeat, so will LGD go 3-0 out once again, or 0-3 out, or will they be able to turn things around? I think Starhorn Royal Club are all too familiar with series getting turned around on them, so not looking to repeat their performance versus OMG.
Oh yeah, but they are definitely much more confident against LGD than against OMG. OMG are the titans of China. They always go to the biggest tournaments. They always have nice records on these tournaments. And Starhorn is some kind of a new team, because we had UZI in the middle lane, then he switched over back to the AD carry, and then only the Koreans came in, and finally Starhorn started working out. But they are pretty much a new team, while OMG, the only roster change that they made was Data 7 coming into the support, so they don't have to work out the synergy, while Starhorn still have the language barrier. And against LGD, they do have greater chances than against OMG.
Starhorn Royal Club, they kind of reminded me a little bit of maybe the old school Moscow 5 bottom lane, where Gosu Pepper was always roaming up to the side lane. He hated laning with Genja, so he would just always be roaming. He'd leave Genja and go do his own thing. That's kind of what Zero did in that game. You saw that one double kill very early on around the 10-minute mark, where all of a sudden Zero just shows up top lane and it's 2 kills for Starhorn Royal Club. And wait a second, where's UZI? He's pushing the 2nd tier bottom lane turret all by himself. So big split up there, and UZI, of course, you got to contribute some of his 11 assists to Zero. Some nice synergy there, even though that has not been the case for the entire season. They got it when it counts here in the playoffs, because the team that loses this best-of-5 will get 4th place this season, and they're not out of contention for Worlds by any means. All of the teams here in the playoffs will advance to the regional qualifiers for China coming up after this, after the end of this LPL season. So no team is completely out of contention for Worlds, but this is kind of a battle for not only 4th place, but if you win this split of LPL, you have a much easier spot, much easier shot at going to Worlds. You only have to beat EDG.
You only have to beat EDG, which has been a hard thing for the teams.
It's not that easy, but it is still only one best-of-5 that you have to play instead of having to play through the regional qualifiers.
Actually, it's a best-of-3 later on.
Oh, that's true. It's a little bit backwards. We do best-of-5s here, double elimination for the LPL season playoffs, but it's actually best-of-3s for the regional qualifiers to get to Worlds. So a little bit interesting there, but I'm glad we have best of fives here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Best of fives are a great thing. You can prepare for the team. You just have to face one team at a day. And there we go, the picks and bans. And Fizz already taken out.
Alright, Fizz first ban, no questions asked. And you'll also see Alistar and Maokai bans. Because I think both of these teams got a chance to see what Alistar and Maokai look like from our previous series yesterday. EDG kind of showed OMG why you don't give up Maokai to anyone. There's actually a Rengar ban from LGD. They banned Rengar in place of Insect's Lee Sin. So the question is, did they ban out Lee Sin here, knowing that they have the opportunity to first pick Orianna?
Yeah, they do have the first pick, so they either ban Lee Sin or they ban Orianna. Or they just ban yet another champion from Starhorn, because they go for Orianna first pick, well, Starhorn can just pick up a Yasuo.
That's true. Starhorn, the carry lineup did not work for LGD in the top lane. Giving 17 a champion that he might be a little bit more familiar with, having transitioned from the mid lane to that top lane in Yasuo, had one nice turnaround, but it just did not pay off. And this is almost a guaranteed Orianna ban from Starhorn Royal Club. You just cannot give that champion to Wayless. He is so incredible at farming things out there. Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, we've seen him build it on almost every AP mid laner that he plays. So just waiting for Starhorn. Wait, what? They banned the Thresh. Okay, this is instantaneous first pick Orianna for LGD. Like, you can see them kind of incredulous. They're just like, wait a second, they gave us Orianna? At LGD, we'll lock that in for Wayless.
I'm quite sure that Starhorn have something up their sleeve to beat this Orianna in the middle lane. And, well, Korn, he was in a 1v1 against Wayless already in the previous game and won this one without any help from the jungle. And if he gets a little bit of help from the jungle, which will be an easier thing...
LGD, they're forced to choose between Lee Sin and Orianna, and I think they'll lock into Lee Sin. And this is a big bait. Well, not bait, but it's a big strategy from Starhorn. They're like, hey, we're gonna give you this difficult choice to make and see which one you make. Well, LGD, they kind of get the best of both worlds, because while yes, it is dangerous to have Korn on that Yasuo, and yeah, he actually did very well against Wayless, this is a lock-in for Orianna, and that is going to be something very strong. Now, this could actually be a little bit of a counter lane matchup, because keep in mind, Wayless's Orianna wants to build magic resistance early in a Chalice, whereas, you know, you can't really do that against Korn's Yasuo, otherwise you'll just get destroyed. But man, Wayless makes all things possible, so we'll see how he handles that matchup.
Yeah, and why Korn will get a little bit more pressure from Insect? That's because Rengar is banned. They won't have to wait until level 6. This is gonna be the Jarvan in the jungle.
Man, I'm looking at this LGD lineup, and what champion don't they have? This is a picture-perfect comfort pick lineup for LGD. They're even going to get the Zillion that was actually banned out in game 1. LGD banned it, or Starhorn banned it from LGD. So I'm not sure exactly what champions Starhorn are trying to remove. They took out the top lane and they take out the Thresh, but they leave almost everything else open. If LGD have one dream team composition, this is going to be it.
Well, on the other hand, we do have Korn on Yasuo, and the bottom lane is still looking really strong.
Whoa, wait a second.
Oh, Varus.
That's a Varus lock-in, Nero, and correct me if I'm wrong, but both Varus and Lucian are 80 carries.
Yeah, they are. And no way. Is it gonna be a Lucian in the top lane?
Somebody on this team has the jungle, and that's almost guaranteed to be Lee Sin. So that means you either have to play mid lane Lucian or top.
But there's Orianna.
All right, man. This is I don't know what to expect.
Maybe
here.
I mean, we didn't see Varus for a very long time, so maybe they figured out how to play Varus in the top lane.
If 17 pulls off a Varus top lane, I'm gonna find some. I'm gonna go find the nearest table, and I'm just gonna flip it, and I'm gonna flip it again, and I'm just gonna, you know, lather, rinse, repeat until we find out what on earth is happening here. Now, there is a Kog'Maw Irelia lock-in for the last two picks on on Starhorn, so they'll get big comfort picks, big power picks in the current meta too, but what is this Varus doing on LGD's team comp?
So it's the first time we see Varus played by LGD, and it's the first time we see Aurelia played by Starhorn. Actually, Cola never played her.
That's true. He hasn't played Aurelia professionally at all this season, at least as far as LPL picks are concerned. Might have brought that out in one of the other side tournaments that's going on right now in China. But for LPL, this is a new champion, and especially bringing it out here in the playoffs, both teams have something new to show us, although I think something a little bit newer here from LGD. If you have to pick a time to pull out your secret, cheese card, this is going to be that time. And it does actually appear as if that Varus was a
Rise.
A placeholder pick for Rise.
Okay.
I've never been more upset in my entire life. The disappointment is so strong. Alright, so Varus is apparently a placeholder for Rise because reasons and things.
Yeah, I saw the referee talking to XQ, and XQ was the one to lock in the Varus, so he knew that he's having some problems right there, so okay, I can dig that, but wow. And Insec, there was a camera on Starhorn's lineup when this Varus got locked in. Insec just threw his hands in the air and said like, what the hell is going on?
It's like, why is there a Varus in my game, and where's their top laner? So they do come out with a little bit of a replacement. Look at the bright neon pink armrests on the Starhorn chairs. Those are so sick. But I think only Korn and Insec have them. So that's maybe not everybody qualifies for the extra armrests. They're like duct taped to the chairs too. So I'm not sure about that, but either way, the hype has just been killed. There's no Varus. It's a Rise in the top lane for LGD. And it'll still be really impressive to watch because it's 17 once again on a carry champion that he's bringing over from his time as a mid laner back to that top lane. See how it works out here against an Aurelia. 17, or not 17, but yeah.
Hold up. On Aurelia. And 17 is on Rise.
Yeah, I think I said that backwards. It's 17 on Rise, Korn on, or Cola, rather, on Aurelia. Korn and Cola. I always get those guys mixed up. They both start with C's. There's like corn syrup in Cola. We'll be talking about soft drinks and a whole lot else as we hop into game number 2 of LGD versus Starhorn Royal Club in the LPL Summer Playoffs. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 between LGD and Starhorn Royal Club. We're coming out into our second game of the series. It's a little bit of a switch-up, but primarily you have to focus on the LGD team composition. Incredible comfort picks for both Wayless and XQ, and with Chuen in the jungle on arguably his best champion, PYL getting the champion that was actually banned out against him, the Zillion, could also have been banned out against Wayless, but Wayless gets his Orianna, and that is the big takeaway for LGD.
Yeah, so you said it's picture perfect for LGD. That might be the case, but on the other hand, just as I said, there's UZI on Kog'Maw, there's Zero on its undefeated Braum, still because he won the previous game. There's Korn on Yasuo. Still looking great for Starhorn, but can they really make it against Wayless's Orianna?
UZI and Zero actually face check right into XQ, but look what UZI is doing. He's just getting one auto attack after another, and XQ is actually forced back to base.
The missed Winter's Bite. It could have even been a flash or heal burnt.
But they do stall out XQ from being able to head back to base. They'll try to head back again, but Zero wants to. He can actually stop this one. Oh, but he stops it again. XQ. He has to go back to base, but he just can't get there.
Oh, he wastes a lot of time right there. And they're gonna go for the lane swap. Actually, no. Well, I saw PIL recalling too. but then he stopped it.
So they actually are lane swapping. XQ is going to head his way top lane, and you can see PYL making his way there. And immediately, Starhorn, they know something's up, so they'll already start to ping that bottom lane is MIA. This won't be the biggest deficit for XQ and PYL because they'll still be able to have a very strong farming lane early on. But now look at this duo lane rotation. This is something sneaky from LGD. They've always been known to have these really crazy early roams and just sit in the enemy's jungle. That's exactly what they're doing. They're camping out that top lane jungle. They have 3 champions there, and XQ in a 1v1 matchup versus Cola, who you can tell really doesn't want to be there and is already backing off.
Oh yeah, and as we said, this is his first time on the Relia in the LPL, so if it gets completely shut down...
but a 2v2 Insect checks right into Twed and 17 immediate standard out of there. 17 is only level 1 here, so he'll only have overloads. And now it's actually Corn. He's going to force that flash out and the dash away from 17, but he actually goes down for first blood. Perfect. Roam from Corn up from the mid lane. Heads back into the jungle and takes out 17.
Oh, great play from Starhorn right there, but yeah, 17 was level 1, but so was Cola. And this was a weird 2v2, or actually 3v2 in the jungle, because Insect just immediately ran away from there and he didn't do anything, yet Korn was able to pick up the kill single-handedly.
Oh my gosh, as Korn rotated up, and Cola actually realized the lane swap was happening and rotated back around to check the red buff, and sure enough, he found the entire rest of LGD, with the exception of Wayless. Wayless stayed mid to farm, and I hope that 3 CS advantage is worth it, because it was a much bigger performance. Korn, right where he needed to be.
Well, we shouldn't really expect Wayless to roam around the map or to help anyone around the map. He just wants to grab this Spirit of the Spectral Wraith and farm as much as possible. And this is working out. We have seen it work out in the regular season already.
And while it might have been a nice innovation from LGD to say, hey, our bottom lane's already really far behind, we don't want to fight the 1v1 or the 2v2, so we're going to switch it up and mismatch the lanes. That's actually really bad for LGD because they give UZI's Kog'Maw an incredibly easy early game. And the lane bully Lucian, that still actually fulfills that focus, doesn't really have a lane to bully because he's already in a 2v1. He's going to win that anyway.
Yeah, still they land a lot of poke on Cola and he has to back away. So they make this Aurelia fail for Cola. That's the least that they can do.
Well, Cola is going to be kept down. You can see he returns to lane with a bunch of health from the Doran Shield and Ruby Crystal, but that's primarily just to keep him in lane. But bottom lane, oh, you gotta watch out. UZI and Zero, they immediately jump in onto Twen. He's way ahead of schedule, and now 17 is forced to micro down behind the turret. Turret shots actually onto Insect. Insect dropping dangerously low, and XQ gets a snare out onto Zero. 17 in a 1v3 finds a kill, and now Insect and UZI are dangerously low. That was a horrible dive decision. Starhorn, they pay for it.
Oh,
Zero's
that
life
is just Starhorn. That, as I said in the previous game, always someone has to die when they are diving.
Oh, but UZI, is he going to take a turret shot solo? The minions might actually finish him off. No, he's going to stay alive with just about 50 HP.
Starhorn, they have to work on diving. They have perfect team fights.
Top lane, we're going to see how XQ, he's going to get stunned out underneath the turret. He flashes, summoner heal, gets the auto attack over the wall, and maybe not much of a better dive, but at least that one works out for LGD.
Yeah, at least they didn't die right there. And Zero, it's the second game in a row he dies in an early dive.
Crazy start to the game, to say the least. Both teams going for the do-dive strategy. This is looking like Season 3 LPLs, where it was all about the 3-man, 4-man top lane dives, just really punishing the solo laners. But now, Insect trying to come top lane for at least a little bit of CS. Top lane turret will fall. LGD with an early objective advantage.
Now that was the issue. Insect came there to maybe grab a little bit of CS, but definitely to defend the turret, but it was already too late, unfortunately. And LGD, they have the early gold lead, but Starhorn, they do have the duo lane in the bottom, so they can try to go for the dragon.
And the turret gold really just brought things back to even as far as the gold count is concerned. Still, it is an objective, and more importantly, this will allow Cola to actually freeze the wave at his turret, and with the ability to keep your Aurelia there, that means that you're going to have a much stronger solo lane, whereas you actually, for LGD, they're forced to put 17 in a 1v2 situation where the lane is actually pushing away from his turret because it hasn't gone down. He's very far extended, and we'll have to watch out for Insec. Trying to come around, but it's actually Chuen who's trying to steal this blue buff away, finds Insect there, might be willing to go in for this. He actually does, knows he has PYL right behind him, and Insect with a little bit of damage of his own. Very deep jungle invade here for LGD. We'll see if they can make it pay off.
Well, now gold is dead even. So Starhorn definitely doing a great job CSing. There comes the blue buff steal for LGD though, and now they have the better position for the dragon.
Yeah, but Chuen just smote the blue buff away, and LGD, you gotta scan. They had to sweep that place. They're standing right on top of a ward. LGD, you're not as sneaky as you think you are. Gotta get away from that dragon area.
Didn't get the trap they wanted to, and actually that was supposed to be the story of LGD's game. They were supposed to go for the baits, for the traps against Starhorn's aggression, and now that they finally go for it, it doesn't work out, and they don't have a Thresh or an Ahri to catch them out this time around.
That's right. As important as wards are, as getting that map vision is, it's almost just as important to get sweepers, to get the ability to clear out that map vision when you go for things like picks like that. And that's something that LGD are very well known for, not only breaking the lane phase incredibly early, but grouping up for these big sort of pick of death brushes. All throughout the enemy jungle, they'll try to catch out the jungler, they'll try to catch their opposing teams out through early rotations, and they'll just put a ton of early just gank roam pressure on the rest of the lanes, but not so this game. We really haven't seen that out of Wayless either, who's been touted as a big farming monster mid. Hasn't been able to make that happen. He's down about 12 CS.
Well, the bottom lane, a little bit of action going down, and I think that XQ should have a bit of advantage with this BF sword, but there comes Korn.
XQ's gonna have to get out of here. The knockup, where's it coming in there? Korn diving way too deep past that, but especially with that Zillion ultimate on there, XQ narrowly gets that Zillion ult pop, so he'll be able to stay in there, stay alive. Nice save by PYL.
Still no knockup from Korn, no ultimate from him. Just went in underneath the turret and didn't do too much. And once again, Starhorn, they are going for the dives, and they completely fail at their dives.
These dives have been crazy early on, and while they have been going, I guess you could say, quote-unquote, in the favor of LGD, it's been pretty wacky on both sides, so you can see teams taking a little bit of a break away from those dives. Now 17 facing off against Cola. Cola's got a huge wave of minions to CS under his turret. We'll see him able to freeze it right outside range and get every single one.
Oh yeah, and he already has a little bit of CS advantage in the top lane. He had it even before they met there. So Cola doing quite okay right there. And we definitely want to see him succeed. It is his first time playing Aurelia in LPL. So that is a question mark.
It's true, and it's actually the first time that Wayless gets to play his Orianna here in the playoffs, but oh, Insec, he's gonna go in there, the double knockup on a PYL. You can move fast, but you can't get out of the Cataclysm. Teleport bottom lane coming in from Cola, and this is primarily not to put pressure onto the lane, but rather to put pressure around the dragon area as Starhorn rotate up for their objective.
And they will most probably easily get it, because 17 cancelled his teleport.
Oh, last breath in on to Chuen. He's going to get the shield. Safeguard is out there as well. And Chuen walks into a last breath and walks out alive.
Too low to contest for the Baron, though.
If Starhorn
for the dragon, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if they decide to rotate up back towards that mid lane, Wayless is going to be in a really rough spot because there's literally no one that can help him. PYL's all the way down bottom lane. He might come back up. Starhorn, they're a little weak after that fight, after the engage, and they'll take down That's first dragon in around 17.5 minutes. Command Shockwave pulling Korn in onto Wayless, and you can see Ghost coming out here. Wayless walks right back forward, but he gets crit down, so he will not chase this out. There's actually the flash, the Rune Prism onto Korn. Does he have the damage? No. Way of the Wanderer passive pop there onto Korn, and it and the rest of his health bar will stay intact.
Wayless was so happy that Korn missed his knock-up. So, well, I can try to fight for it, but then the crit just completely shut him down. And yeah, 17, not a lot of damage on him. And he's roaming a lot. He tried to teleport to the bottom lane, now he roamed down to the middle. And he just does not farm enough.
Oh, top lane, 17 in a lot of trouble. Knockup coming in from Insec, and there's the knockdown. Skola will take him out. 4-2 now in kills for Starhorn, as they're starting to find these very aggressive picks onto the side lanes.
That must be so sad for 17. He tries to roam around the map to try and make something happen. He doesn't make it happen, and when he comes back to the lane, he dies. That is extremely disappointing for him, but Starhorn putting a little bit of pressure on the bottom lane. The first turrets should finally fall.
Face checks right into Insec, or vice versa, I guess. Gets that Dragon's Rage, kicks him right back into Korn, but now Twen will have his rough time out for himself. He will war jump right back away. A lot of face checking going on, and most of it's working out for Starhorn.
Yeah, it is working out for Starhorn, but the turrets also fall, and they have the gold advantage now.
Anytime you see a team face check this much, it's because of a lack of ward coverage or a lack of preservation of wards, so that you always have one when you need to throw it out. Now, slow lands onto XQ. This is 4.14, so there's no slow cleanse. XQ still in a lot of trouble. He's turning it back around. He's landing the damage, but it's onto the Unbreakable. 0. You really do not want to fight him when that's out there. Dash in from XQ. It's on to UZI's Cogball. XQ is going to go down there, but he gets the Zillion ult, so he will stay alive for just a second longer. He's going to flash through. He's going to get the auto attacks. One more. The Ardent Blaze. It's not enough. XQ. UZI's taunting him, but he can't find the kill under turret. XQ and PYL both meet their makers.
Yeah, and that was once again a great play from UZI in the bottom lane, and they redeemed themselves after the failed dives around this bottom lane outer turret. So now that the turret is gone, the curse is also gone, and Starhorn can finally do something in the bottom lane.
For as many communication issues as we saw early on in the season between UZI and Zero, they do not look like they're there anymore. Great coordination, not only when they're duoed up in the bottom lane, but especially off of Zero actually roaming so much. He's able to say, hey, look, you're going to stay here and stay safe. Well, somewhat stay safe there for UZI. Zero is roaming around, able to make these plays happen. Once again, he is on the opposite side of the map from his AD carry, just kind of splitting things up.
And it's just the 15th minute, and Starhorn already have 3.5k gold advantage. If they make it 5k at 20 minutes, once again, LGD is going to be so far behind so early in the game.
Always looking for any advantage they can find. Wayless has been able to kind of pull a miracle here. He was down 20 CS versus Korn, or 15 CS versus Korn, and now he's actually up 20, which is just a testament to not only his ability to farm, but to the strength of his Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, which is not a build that you see out of a lot of mid laners, but Wayless, he pioneered it, he does it every single time, and starting to get him back in the CS game.
You know, we have 203 Insec, and that's just what I said. There will be more early pressure from Insec because he doesn't play a Rengar. Now he plays Jarvan, and it's definitely working out for Starhorn, and there we go. Something might happen in the bottom lane.
Exactly. There's a little bit of a catch onto PYL, but he got the move speed from PYL's rewind, so he'll be able to escape. Starhorn, what is it that they need to do? They've been rotating around very effectively for kills, but what's their next objective?
Where they already found the 2 turrets that they wanted to, so they will wait for a dragon. Maybe a fight will happen right there. But Starhorn is just so great at picking fights and then kills off of them. We saw that in the previous game, so once again that might happen. LGD will just walk right into Starhorn's traps.
We talked earlier about how Insec was maybe a little bit hit or miss starting out in the beginning, but especially since things have trended back towards these 2v2 lanes, that has given him a lot more potential, a lot more ability to synergize with those side lanes and help make them carry out. And that's exactly what he's been doing. Now 203, like you mentioned, miles ahead of Chuen, who is of course 0-1-0, and he's opted to go for the sight stones, so already taking a little bit more of a supportive role. As opposed to guys like Insec, who, well, up until he grabbed the Giant's belt, was full offense.
We have the Rod of Ages on 17 though, but there's no Tear of the Goddess. He will be slowly ramping up, but will he hit the power spike when he's needed?
LGD, they're pouring on the pressure mid. Nothing coming of it just yet, and with the minion wave dissipating, that'll give Starhorn more than enough time to rotate right back around. Some pretty impressive ward coverage from LGD around the top and bottom halves of the map. So they still have the vision that they need to stay safe, but the question is, with this Dragon objective now up, are LGD going to go for the contest? Looks like the answer is yes. Chuen yet to throw out a Sonic Wave. There is the Glacial Fissure. Look at Cola coming in from way behind. There's Chuen. He tries to go back into the fight, but there's a last breath that'll take him down. No, he actually stays alive for the longest possible time with that Zillion ult. He'll come back from the grave. Now it's actually Cola flashing over the wall. He'll stay alive.
Turn the game around.
That was
probably get the dragon too.
An incredible turnaround. They win the fight, go 3-for-0, and that was, I gotta shout out at PYL. He turned that he turned his ultimate onto Chuen, who actually engaged the fight and got that Dragon's Rage kick off, and nobody touched Wayless. He got a command shockwave off, all the damage he could possibly want, and it's a team fight and a dragon win for LGD.
Yeah, and that is just Wayless' Orianna. First of all, he farms greatly, but then he also lands great shockwaves, and Zero, he missed this Glacial Fissure completely.
Oh, but now oh my gosh, so we gotta re-engage there while the replay is happening. So you can see the big command shockwave. Wayless just hard carried out that fight, and of course PYL is gonna keep Chuen alive. We have maybe another replay of the replay. The dives through this middle turret. Mid turret might go down here, but look at Insec. He is a little bit far up there. Turret's still at half HP, and now Wayless gonna come in here, gets the ball on there. Command Shockwave doesn't pull him out of his escape pattern. Chuen looking for the flash, gets it out of Insec, but there's one kill. It's gonna find it on to Zero's Braum. And what happened to Starhorn, Nero? They've just given up 4 kills in a row. I think 5 if you want to count the kill before the dragon fight. And now they're right back in the game.
Well, when Korn came back to the lane, he killed both XQ and 17. He got a double kill. Right now he's sitting at 3-0-0. So his Yasuo is strong. It might be the turning point in the game. So it's not like Starhorn already lost it, but LGD, they're going for the same thing that Starhorn went for in the previous game.
That's right. Well, talking about turning points, the Baron is low. Who gets the smite? It's going over to Chuen, and this is a very good fight for LGD. PYL will be forced to flash back, but look at 17. He stays alive about as long as he possibly can, but no, it's Korn in the backline. The respawn for Chuen, it's not enough, and Korn finds the kill. But now Wayless, he's kiting out in the backline, does not have that damage, and it's a 4-for-1 exchange. Starhorn, they give up the Baron. They will take the kills in return. Now Wayless, he gets marked there by the Winter's Bite. He's gonna get auto attack. He's gonna go down here. No command shockwave to turn around quite literally the fight. Starhorn find all 5 kills off the back of Baron.
So even though LGD got the Baron, now they don't even have this. All they got was the gold from killing it.
And experience. Experience is there too.
Yeah, okay, they got the experience, but PYL, he used his ultimate on Chuen and not on XQ.
Yeah.
Was an easy kill for Korn later on.
Yeah, and XQ, he was kind of feeling the struggles there in that fight. He didn't get the Zillion ult. He didn't really get a whole lot of peel, especially when Korn was just like, hey, let's go ahead and start this fight. And Uzi, like you said, just a monster in the backline. This is a big, big turnaround. Now, granted, Baron was taken, so we'll get a chance to check that out again. This is that mid lane fight that we'd missed a little bit earlier on. Korn just mows down 17, and XQ's right there. Easy peasy. kills coming Corrin's way. He is now 6-0-1. Maybe it's his turn for the deathless game after UZI had it in game 1.
And I just said it. He was 3-0-0. And I said that he might be the turning point for Starhorn in the game, and then he gets 3 kills, 1 assist.
He's coming down here. He's got a nice angle onto Cola, and especially with PYL coming around the side, that should be a retreat instead of offense. Yeah, LGD, they're going to back off of this one, not willing to fight Starhorn, who are item for item just very, very much farther ahead.
Well, it would have been a 4-on-2 or 3.
Engaged there on a PYL. Hasn't popped that Zillion ultimate just yet. Does have it available, so it's in there. And XQ, you can see he's thrown out the culling, but he culls right into the wind wall. Corrin is just like, my skill has a shorter cooldown, and yeah, yours is not what you're looking for. So the big
actually, the culling might be stopped by a lot of skills right here. You have the Unbreakable on Zero, you have the Wind Wall on Corn, so they completely deny the callings.
That's right, and that is the big synergy here for the Starhorn team. If you want to siege a turret, you turn on the Unbreakable for Zero, block some spells, take some tanking damage in return, and Corn can just throw out his Wind Wall. And how are you supposed to defend a turret against that, even though they're melee? Well, you know, if it was difficult to push a turret as melee, why don't you pick the longest ranged AD carry in the game? Of course, well, I guess technically with activatable skills, it's Twitch, and then it goes to maybe Corky's missiles if you want to count that. But as far as auto attacks, Kog'Maw right up there in the standings. Starhorn, they find a turret, they find 3 actually, and now positioning for a dragon, but it's not up for 50 seconds.
Yeah, but LGD want to get caught, they can still make that happen, so they definitely should fall back for now and then just try to go for the Baron. For dragon.
I was gonna say, they already went for Baron, so Baron's out of the picture for another 5 minutes. 17, choosing a pretty risky space to go back, but doesn't get punished for it. Starhorn now, it is they who are the ones setting up this ward coverage in preparation for Dragon.
Yeah, when the Baron comes back up once again, the game might turn around yet again. LGD, if they win this time around, it's gonna come back to like 12 to 13 in kills, and then the gold is there, still gonna be on their side. And the turrets are not so far apart too, it's just 1 turret's difference.
It may only be 1 turret difference, but it's more just the mindset that Starhorn are in. They are in the driver's seat. They're the one forcing and making these plays, and well, they're doing just that by starting off this dragon. Now Chuen is going to go in, but he misses the smite. Command Shockwave goes off. That's a good land, but Chuen will be forced to get revived. The last breath over the wall onto PYL just blows him apart, but the damage coming in from 17 is pretty real. A double flash over the wall, no questions asked. They will take down Insec off the back of that one as well. A 1 for 2 exchange in favor of LGD, but they lose the dragon, so still more gold for Starhorn.
There's still a little bit more gold for Starhorn, and I was once again worried by a bit for XQ because he once again didn't get the Zillion's ultimate, but he was alright in the end. LGD looking for the turret. If they get this one, it actually is a nice trade.
That's true. They will get a turret off of that team fight, and so they are starting to come back. I feel like I've seen comebacks from this of, oh no, Wayless maybe a little bit caught out, throws the ball out, does not have command shockwave, so we'll have to wait for that one to come back up in just about 15 seconds. So LGD, they back off for now, especially sending Chuen back since he was so low.
The Chrono Shift is not up yet, but it's going to be there in just a couple of seconds. But the Baron timer is on. 1 minute and about 10 seconds.
The most exciting ward clearing you'll ever see, PYL. He'll take that one out. UZI once again just left off to his own to farm, and this is a consistent trait that you'll see all throughout this series. Zero exerts pressure out on the rest of the map that forces members of LGD to come respond, and so they just leave a lane open. So it's a great split pushing opportunity there, but XQ is doing some split pushing of his own with the culling, and he'll take care of that wave. Doesn't want to overextend.
At least here his calling is not gonna get blocked, so why not just use it for wave clear all the time?
That is true. I mean, there's only so much you can do with a culling versus a Braum Yasuo team comp. I feel like those two shields are more than enough as far as this goes. Now Starhorn, they're starting to come out of their base, starting to group up, but really, are they the ones that are now afraid of LGD after they lost that team fight? Or still the ones in the driver's seat, given how farmed their carries are?
Well, we know Starhorn, they are never afraid. It's gonna be Uzi in the front line jumping into the faces of LGD if his team is afraid, but never the whole team of Starhorn will be afraid of anyone.
But now LGD, they start the Baron again! Will they ever learn? The answer, of course, is maybe? Cola is starting to take some damage there in the back. Look at that, he's going over the wall. Chuan, I'm not sure which side of the wall he was on, but he makes it back into the pit, finds Zero out there. Look at the damage from
Baron really low.
Wayless, the Zillion ult not actually proc there on Tweden, who actually makes it out before dying. So, a good escape there from LGD out of the Baron pit, but now they actually leave Starhorn in a very big presence there around the Baron area. Shield will keep Tweden alive, but it's the Foidus coming out at UZI, but now he is on the chase on the Wayless. Big second thoughts about it. Now it's Starhorn on Baron Nashor.
Well, Chrono Shift was not there anymore, but Baron has already regened up, and now Starhorn are losing a lot of health to this one.
Baron
so
does
still
go.
The turnaround might be there.
That's true. Baron goes down and it's Insect with the smite. So Starhorn find this Baron for their own. How do they capitalize this? Looks like they're going on for the push.
Shockwave was available, but Wayless just didn't know what was going on inside of the Baron pit. They didn't have any wards left there anymore.
I think all things considered, even with that little bit of miscommunication, an incredible performance here for Starhorn Royal Club. They come off the Baron, rotate to the mid lane for a tower, and now they're just starving out this bottom jungle.
Oh yeah, and finally Starhorn did find the Baron. And they do find a little bit of gold lead, but I think it was bigger in the laning phase than now. LGD is still keeping it quite close. Can still turn it around.
One day. One day. Speaking of turning things around, the carry lineups for Starhorn are definitely something in need of being turned around. 7-1 for Corrin's Yasuo, and UZI, he's on a late game champion, and he's even still more positive. 4-1-3, so this amount of damage from Starhorn, I'm not sure there's anything that can tank through it. You have a full armor Rise up there with the Rod of Ages, of course, building onto Seraphs, but the question I have is just how effective that's going to be, given the amount of damage on Starhorn.
Well, 17 already started being useful, pretty much. He got a bit of kills. He's sitting on a positive KDA. So it's already kind of working out for them because, well, at the very beginning of the game, 17 was just roaming around without getting anything done and then was just dying in the top lane. Finally, he starts finding something, so maybe that's a glimmer of hope for LGD. And we also always have to watch out for the shockwaves of Wayless. He didn't throw out one in the previous fight, but maybe in the next one.
Well, it should be a little bit easier now. PYL and XQ, they are forced back out of their own jungle. And that will mean that not only they're giving up this half of the map, but they're also just completely unwilling to start a fight. Starhorn looking to start their siege of this bottom lane turret, and we'll see how they react to this. Turret dives not working out so well for the beginning, but look at the Insect on Nicola. Not quite the champion you want to kick in. Of course, he used to play searches right back out to Twen, and now it's actually LGD with not as many options as they'd like to try to defend the turret. They will retreat for now.
Well, there was Insect or Cola, and well, Twen didn't have a big choice right there. Well, he still chose to waste his ultimate.
That is true, and he almost could have killed out almost every wave there. Double almost, somewhat redundant, but it would have been close just because of how low all of those minions were. Now the Defense of the Ages comes out for LGD. Can they keep this long-range Starhorn poke off of their turret?
Well, it is Starhorn with the Baron buff, so it's definitely going to be a tough task, but Wayless is there. There's the Oriana with the big wave clear with the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith.
It needs to be putting that to maximum usage, and well, that is certainly not clearing creeps, so he'll go over and take a blue buff of his own, and that'll keep Wayless in the game, but he's 0-1-7 versus 7-1-1, so a big discrepancy.
That's the huge difference right there. And Korn, we haven't seen him play Yasuo for quite a long time. It's always been taken away from him or banned. And now he finally gets his hands on this Yasuo again and shows why it is supposed to be banned against him.
LGD trying to catch their bearings here, and you can see, especially with their mid lane presence, they're just like, all right, well, where do we go next? Korn's just going to get a free top lane turret off of just a lack of rotation here, and LGD, they're just falling further and further behind. Now it's actually they who are behind in these lane rotations, not fast enough to the top lane in time to defend the turret.
And usually it is LGD who are supposed to be out-rotating their enemies. But it's just not the case in this best-of-5 series.
It certainly is not, and to their credit, there are 5 games to play, possibly, at most, so there's a possibility for just about everything. I would have liked to see the Varus, but it turned into a Rise, and to be honest, it is actually doing a very big job there. 17 is finding the kills that he's been looking for. Unfortunately, though, he's also found the same number of deaths.
Yeah, but XQ, he can come up with something like Graves alongside with a Sona from PYL, so the bottom lane picks might appear there, but I don't really expect a Varus. Well, Starhorn looking for a push. They had a big minion wave, but still they don't really want to risk it.
Speaking of not wanting to risk it, a very safe trip around all the way through their own base for LGD. Pretty crazy times if you want to think about how to trade all of this out. LGD, they've grouped all the way up down bottom, but they're not actually farming anything. They're just waiting for the next wave to push in. Whereas for Starhorn, they've sent Korn all the way up to mid, had him push that down. He got the gold experience, all of that solo lane golden experience too. And now, where is the start to this next fight? Is it from Chuen? Is it from Wayless landing a shockwave? I'm pretty excited to see where it is from, but it doesn't look like we'll be getting a return postcard anytime soon.
Yeah, there is the Baron spawning in about a minute, so that's what Starhorn will be looking for, and they will not want to get caught by LGD right now. So LGD, they have to prepare for this Baron fight. Just pick up the items, pick up the wars, most importantly. They need the vision.
A little bit of damage starting to come out there as Insect looks for the flank. Throws out that standard, but doesn't go in. Man, the stress, the tension, it's all heating up here around the mid lane. And Starhorn, they've got the cut if they want to make it by running out of that bottom lane brush. They're going to throw it on the Winter's Bite. It lands on a Chuen. They get the knockup. There is the dunk down. We've got PYL kiting backwards as well as 17. But look at the damage that they're able to dish out from all the way from behind. Now XQ and Cola. He's in the 1v1, but that is not a fight he wants to fight. Now 17 is going to go down. It is a 4-for-0 exchange. Now XQ is on the run.
It's going to be Ace. Oh, but maybe XQ can run away.
Maybe XQ can run away. That is a very big maybe.
Starhorn should focus on the Baron though. They're just giving up the pressure on middle lane or on the Baron while chasing XQ, who can be able to run away from there.
At least for the time being, it will be a strong push up the mid lane for Starhorn Royal Club, and they realize that they may not be set up, they may not know about the Baron, but they can just pay attention to this turret going down and kind of get the same idea for global gold and experience. Exciting to see Starhorn Royal Club start to do so well, especially after last season, where it was a little bit up and down, let's put it that way.
Can they get the inhibitor though? Yes, they can. It's just PYL alive for LGD. And LGD is gonna have a tough time right now. They have to try to contest for the Baron, which is already being done. And they have to defend their base. They won't be able to do either, in my opinion, right now. With Starhorn looking so incredibly strong.
That's right, they do have a teleport on Rise, so he'll be able to get anywhere he needs to go. But let's go ahead and take a refresh look back on this fight. So I'm pretty sure Insect knows that he can't get out, so he just throws down the ultimate anyway, goes for as much hard gauge as possible, and then he's like, hey, I actually am out. And so he's sort of marauding around the edges looking for an opportunity to come back in. So Starhorn off Uzi's damage and just an incredible Yasuo performance by Corrin. Corrin's 10-1-2. Like, it doesn't feel like he's picking up kill after kill after kill, but then you look and see a 10-2 or a 10-1-2 performance. Corrin, there's just nothing Wayless can do.
Yeah, there are no Wayless shockwaves in the fights. He pressed this R, the animation began, but he went down before it finally went off. He cannot land any single shockwave in any fight. And now his farm, his legendary farm, his legendary Orianna is just useless because Starhorn is too quick at killing him.
Man, action just never letting up as both of these teams always posturing, contesting the same exact objectives, and currently it is this second tier bottom lane turret, which it does look like is going to be given up as LGD decide to try to defend their base.
Oh yeah, and as I said, they're gonna have a tough time. They have to defend the base and contest for the Baron. They failed the contest for the Baron, now they have to defend the base, but once again, there is the wind wall and the unbreakable. Cannot do much against it.
We'll see how much there is to do against this. Now Starhorn continue their push in deep onto the turret. This is mostly just ultimates used to clear the turret. The turret will finally fall. That is the bottom lane base turret going down. Where is the shockwave to turn this right back where it needs? Now from Twin, he's in there, but look at the shockwave. It hits onto 2 in the back line. Uzi still with full HP, and there's the last breath onto Wayless. Oh my gosh, I was just like drawing a blank. He disappeared so fast. And
there come the super minions from the middle lane, though it might be the end of the game.
This is going to be the end of the game. Unbreakable is there. You got the wind wall if you need it. And after a very, very long 40-minute game number 2, Starhorn Royal Club come out ahead.
And that was a similar game to what we saw just an hour ago. Pretty much the same. Starhorn just get the early advantage and then snowball it into an impressive win. LGD just cannot find the answers. They need to switch it up a little bit. It's 2-0 already. They still can make it back, but it's going to be a tough task.
If there is any team that you could expect to reverse all kill against, well, it's definitely Starhorn. They are coming off the back of one just yesterday, so really, really exciting to see how this works out as we head into game number 3. So stick around, we'll be right back after a 10-minute break with our 3rd game of the night. It's Starhorn Royal Club versus LGD here in the LPL Spring Playoffs. Of course, brought to you in part by our friends at Esports Heaven Games in Asia. Of course, broadcast for you here in English on Twitch TV. Stick